Hey guys, today we're going to unbox the RAYZR LED Fresnel. This guy is massive. This is a 300 daylight. They also have a 300 bicolor. They have a 200 daylight and a 200 bicolor. So this is the 300 full daylight. This is a case that it comes with. Ships in here, and there's not much inside of this case. You get a set of barn doors here, and a power cord goes right to the wall. No brick attached, and it plugs directly into this Fresnel here, the 300 daylight. And then optionally you can get a softbox. This is a softbox attachment, and the 45 by 45 softbox here, which we'll set up. So we'll get this powered up, and then we'll just kind of run through the features. It's very basic, but this light is very powerful. They say that this 300 daylight one here is brighter than a 1K, so it's about 1.5 times brighter is what they're stating. So let's take a look at that. Let me put this away. It's just custom cut foam, but a really nice bag that it comes with for the 300 daylight right here. So we have the light set up over here, the RAYZR7 300 daylight. As you can see, we've got some dimming controls over here on the side. We have a mode and a set button. On the back, this is how we change our focus for spot and flood. And then we have the power adapter in. There's also a DC in for battery power. And then there's some DMX controls here. Now, if you want to do wireless, they do have a wireless module, but it is either DMX or wireless. One or the other. You can't have both in the light, is from what I know. Now, the 300 series daylight or bicolor, that requires a battery that's going to be either 24 to 36 volt input, which means you're not just going to throw on your standard V mount. Now if you go with something like the 200 RAYZR7, then those can run off of V mount. So you can get a V mount adapter, throw on a 14 volt battery, and then you're good to go. So this one won't work just off of a standard V mount. The 300 is just too much power. So let's drop the barn doors in. It's pretty much like your standard Fresnel. The barn doors go right over the top, and then there's a lock here on the top. You just pull it up and turn it, and that prevents the barn doors from coming up and over. And then you can obviously rotate the barn doors depending on where you want your flags. This is a power cord right here, fairly short, so you're going to need an extension cord, but there is no brick. All of the controls are inside. Now this is a locking connector, so the moment you put it in, you have to rotate it, and then it will lock in place. To turn it on, there's a power switch on the back here. One side is DC power, so if I hit it, it's not going to turn on because I'm not using the DC input. And then the opposite end is actually the power for the light running off of the wall, the AC. Now you have a mode and a set button here. If we press the mode button, we can change the fan from on high to low depending on your needs. Even if it's set on high, it's not super audible. There is some fan noise, but not very much. And then if we hit the set button, we'll be able to change the percentage of the light faster. So as we rotate, we can get from 0% to 100% very quickly. But if we are out of that mode, it's very granular. It takes a long time to get to 100%. It goes like 8.3, 8.4, 8.5. So it does it very fine increments. But if we hit the set button, we can jump directly to something like 50%, and then we can kind of fine tune it by granularly by getting out of that mode. All right, so right now we have the spot on about 5 feet away from that backdrop. We're at 100%. And over here you can see the kind of the scale of your focus, your spot and flood. Right now our spot is at 18 degrees. And then if we rotate this here, we can see a little indicator on the side of the light, and then we know where we're flooding to. So we're gonna go all the way up to 55 degrees. So from 18 to 55 degrees. So you can kind of see how much it's actually able to flood, and that light, that backdrop is about 5 feet away. So again, we'll close this down to about 18 degrees. All right, we're gonna get the softbox set up, throw it on here. So what we'll need to do is open up the adapter. This will replace the barn doors, this little thing here. Just drop this in. So the whole softbox comes in this bag here, and we've got a little grid for it as well, egg crate. Folds open just like that, nice reflective material here. This just has a little string that we pull over and tighten up over the frame. We got two types of diffusing material here. The smaller one goes on the inside, the larger one goes on the outside, and that's just for double diffusion. If you don't need that, you can leave the one on the inside off and just use the one on the outside. So you can see how the diffusion material is set on the inside. Now we can put the exterior one on. There you go, our softbox is all set up. We want to crank it up. So this is with the softbox on, you have double diffusion. We're also down to an 18-degree spot, so you notice how soft the light is being cast right now. You don't have any defined edges, and it throws it much wider, even if we're at an 18-degree spot. And here I've adjusted it to a 55-degree spot, so it's going to throw a little bit wider, and that's what we want with this softbox. Again, we're using the double diffusion here. We could take off the inside one and it'll throw a little bit more light. Right now we're going to throw on the grid, the spot, and you'll see how it kind of narrows that beam. So that's the grid right here, and we're just going to attach it via Velcro on the inside. As you can see, we have the grid on here, and it's going to make the light more directional with these grids. It's not going to kind of feather out as much. So the softbox is first going to diffuse the light, but it's only going to keep it going in one direction and minimize the spill. So let's see what that looks like. All right, so you notice that it is a softer light source, but we have less spill, but still not a very defined edge as if we were using a bare lens. So that's kind of what the grid will do, is if you're trying to throw some soft light on your talent, but you don't want it to kind of go over onto your backdrops or anything, you could use the grid here. Again, we're using double diffusion on the inside, but if we took the inside one out, we'd get a little bit more punch out of this light. So right here, I've got the barn doors back on. I've just kind of narrowed the flags down so you could see how we could cut the light. So we could prevent the light from kind of going everywhere. We kind of focus on a little area here, and we could rotate these barn doors as well. So really nice to have this light with the barn doors that are functioning. You can't really do that with a lot of straight LED panels. So one of the things I really like carrying with me all the time with lights is this Fotodiox Scrim right here. This is a 4x4. It folds up very compact, and it sets up very quickly with this kind of diffusion material here. And let me show you how that's set up. You can either use this scrim here to kind of bounce light. So if we were to shoot light there, it would bounce back over. We can also be on the other side of that scrim where we could shoot through the light, and we have a very large diffusion source by using a powerful light like this. So let me take this Fotodiox Scrim off and show you how that breaks down. So on this scrim right here, there are just two buttons. We press these two buttons in, and we squeeze this. You'll notice how the frame breaks down just like this. So if we wanted to set it back up, we would just pull the frame apart. Once we pull the frame apart, we have the locks on the side. Make sure those are locked down, and we can just throw it on our stand. And so it's very handy to have a scrim like that, because again, you could just kind of shoot the light into it, have it bounce back over, and that's good for like ambient lighting. It's a little more natural than directing the light right at your talent. You're kind of bouncing it off something. But again, you can also shoot through it so that you have a larger source. So that's a 4x4, and they make a little bit larger one as well. All right, so that's a look at the RAYZR7 300 daylight LED Fresnel. Excited to take this guy out on some projects with some modifiers. We can get some really, big key lighting out of this thing. So really excited to try it out. But that's a quick look. If you guys want more information, I'm going to have a link below this video or on the blog, cheesycam.com.